you're going to encounter people. Maybe you know some of them, maybe not. But don't worry, some of them are just meeting each other for the first time. Despite this looking like they are already friends, you can still feel insecurity and shyness. Like this, their time together begins. They talk about what they like, what they don't like, what they do every day, what they want to become in the future. And here and there, some jokes find their place in the exchange. And here is another such group. But they already know each other for a few days. They sing common songs, so their journey doesn't get boring. But you can see, not all of them take part in that. People can be so different. How different are all the people you have met in your life? Who have you encountered? Young people, old people. Some people are funny and laugh a lot. Some are brave and take risks. Some give everything in competitions and are victorious. Some are just lucky. Or they are creative. They draw, they sing, they dance, they play instruments. You can have conversations. You can learn from them. You can get advice. There are those who work hard. Those who are quick on their feet. Those who explain things to you. Those who ask you a lot of questions. But also those who relax. Those who wake up slowly. Those who make comedy. Those who play. Those who are fascinated by something. Those who appreciate community. Together, they form a community, a place to meet, where there is space, where you can develop further and you can be unique. Sit straight, listen, attention. That's nothing new. Also, math lessons are well known. Today's topic, the average. Nothing too complicated. There's even time to talk to classmates. That is interesting for the students, but lessons, they all know. That can be interesting, but isn't there so much more to visit? What else is here on the school compound? Let's see. There are several classrooms and offices. Here is the headmaster. Of course, the guest book gets signed. Next up, the school kitchen. It's time for breakfast. But also lunch is being prepared. Surely we need to come back to that later. The compound is big and students are everywhere. There are construction sites. New chemistry rooms are being built here. This teacher explains the construction plans. Here, the topic revolves closer to everyday life. These students discuss foreign languages. There are a lot of books in the library, which support learning.
To teachers, we're guided to teachers, maybe student things.
Okay. Wow, okay, that's heavy. Wait.
These students are in the midst of preparation because examinations will soon take place. Excuse us for interrupting, but it looks like this disturbance is welcomed here. These new faces are more interesting than reading the same notes for the 10th time. What gets written there? Answers to burning questions like, who are you? Where are you from? Who belongs to your family?
He's 8 years old and he's 5 years old. That's good. And I miss them. They're at home.
Great questions you're asking there, about which you could talk for a long time. But preparing for the exams comes first. Here, the girls' dormitory gets visited. The hallways, the restrooms, the bedrooms, the daily schedule. This is where the new friends from earlier live, which paints a palpable picture of their everyday life. And then something happens.
Ja, das muss man sich mal vorstellen.
Und das ist für was wir uns kann schnell vor die Tür können für das.
Through comparison with one's own life, a process of reflection is started, but only for short, because there's still more to visit. Next up is the school farm. Here are several animals, like pigs, chickens, cows, and bees. Different types of vegetables are growing in the fields. Numerous questions emerge.
No, in your hometown.
Hometown there, there is love.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have a garden.
Okay.
Because there is no.
Because for some, all of this is familiar, but for others, it can be completely new. Some have helped their family in the fields since they were little. Others were born in big cities, where there isn't enough space for farming. Either way, whether from the garden or from the market, food has to be prepared. Because of that, we return to the school kitchen. Cooking can be done really well together. That way, it's faster and easier. Here, cooking at a large scale for the whole school. Here, cooking at a small scale for family and friends. Food has an important role in everyday life. Eating together can bring people closer together. Here, hundreds of students and their teachers. Here, the visitors and their hosts. And after eating, there's still a little space for a piece of cake. But wait, where did the cake come from? They have not been cooking here together. Instead, they baked. Cake and cookies, baking in the traditional way of each culture. Exchanging recipes is a great thing. But this isn't a food seminar. Well, maybe a little. Everyone can help and try it themselves. There's so much variety in food, drinks, and bakery. There's no one in the world who could claim to know all of it. No wonder. Look at all these different groceries. It would be great to take a little bit of everything. What could you create out of all of it? But you would be forced to carry it all. And then there's another giant challenge: being able to afford it. Well, isn't that the purpose of work? To be able to afford life's expenses? When it comes to work, the selection is also enormous. What kind of work do you want to do every day? What about farming? Or carpentry, working with wood? Or you have a pleasant voice, so you could present on a radio. Or do research at university and make the world a safer place. Like here, for example, these rats are being trained to detect landmines. What these small creatures are capable of. And we humans? Isn't it completely up to ourselves to shape our lives in the way that we desire to live? Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? For most people, that is not reality, and we know it all too well. But the people find their way. Through their strengths, and despite their weaknesses, they build their lives. And find meaning. Like this, you go your own way. And your story keeps on developing. Speaking of stories, let's change perspectives to find more in the past. Searching on old paths to understand times none of them have experienced, but still connect them all. There are strange formations in the ground, barely noticeable, almost invisible. These are old trenches, memories of a time where there was fighting over the control of the land, because Tanzania was first colonized by the Germans and later by the British. A local expert makes an effort to explain the complicated history of the place. Sadly, the available information are not completely known as of today. More research would be necessary. Even though it seems like the group is walking here on their own, that's not true. There are invisible companions. Those try their best to keep a distance and stay hidden. It's a group of local children. They surely wonder what this group is doing here. This is their place, where they always play. But do they know what their playground actually is? They live in a world shaped and given to them by former generations. To understand the past and to create the future, we need to talk to people who can tell us about it. These two, for example, they are contemporary witnesses of the British colonial times. They talk at length about this period and their lives. Sadly, for the German colonial time, there is no more witnesses. But there are places that can still teach us about that time, like these ruins at the beach of Bagamoyo. Old military and administrative buildings, and also memory places. Or museums, where history becomes tangible. Here in Iringa, for example, stands a former German colonial building, which has been reconstructed to serve that purpose. From the history of the first humans to the resistance against the Germans, the history and culture of the region is displayed and visible here. There are discussions and questions. Let's try out and get to know. Note and understand.
That's why you meet that
A history which gets rediscovered right now. Together. Through hard work. One stone at a time. For everyone to see. A new memory place is built. We are surrounded by history. It shapes our life and our society. It is the basis for what you see, think, and feel, and for what you will be tomorrow. Welcome at Sumasesu. That, or something similar, is what Ms. Samtawa is saying here. As the head of the NGO Sumasesu, he provides space and support for the group to engage with global questions. Topics in which there isn't just one way, where people bring their personal perspectives to the table and reveal their own view of the world. For example, what does peace mean for you? Not so easy, isn't it? A few ideas come to mind quickly, but for a comprehensive answer, one would need quite some time. Alright, what about group work then? 3 groups, 3 tables, 3 posters, 3 pens, 3 collections of thoughts. Let's compare. All in all, similar. Peace is something that we all want. How could one be against it? But interesting here are the differences in those answers, which start a discussion.
Your discussions and our
Like a lot of stigmas in your head.
I think because we have already
Communication problems, conflicts.
But how can we shape a peaceful future together? Encountering, getting to know each other, doing fun activities together, all fine and nice. But we also need debate and sometimes disagreement, a change of perspective. Leaving the comfort of our own worldview, true respect and honest interest in each other needs a confrontation, even with hot topics like politics, economics, religion, subjective tastes, critical behavior, and more. Those topics can be difficult to navigate, but it is of value to be able to endure opposing views and to encounter them. And even if you are confident in your own view, you must be open to hear what the other has to say. Only if you are willing to do that, only then you can claim to be interested in exchange. Only through that, a change of perspective is possible. And maybe it is there where you are least willing to think, where in the end you can learn the most. Welcome home. You are visiting Grandma. Take your time, sit down. There's delicious food. Take a look at the animals. You can pet them if you like. Grandma wants to show you photos. Take a look at them. Maybe you don't know the people, but maybe someone looks familiar. If you're lucky, you can spot the narrator of this film in those pictures. But wait, Grandma gets a call. Her granddaughter Catherine is calling. She is the one who brought those pictures home from her encounter. 12 years ago, I met her. Back then, by coincidence, I took part in an encounter project where Tanzanian students visited us in Germany. Since then, a lot of time has passed. But I know for sure this experience changed the course of many things for me. This film wouldn't exist. My life would have been very different. And I, myself, would be a completely different person. There is a Tanzanian proverb, a guest is a gift. I can't think of anything more true. There have been many encounters with many different people. We met each other. We got to know different ways of life. We saw what we do, which paths we take, who we are, and who we can become. We have explored why our world is the way it is today. We have discovered where our connection comes from. We debated and argued, but also listened and understood. We became friends, parts of families. We saw how different people can be and their different ways to live. We changed our perspectives. To experience that, to appreciate that, is something worth for all of us. And it is exactly that which can change and shape us. Can I tell you precisely what you will learn about the world and yourself through encountering people? What that can change for you? No. But I will say to you, go your way. Encounter others. Get to know people. It's valuable.